Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Control. Let's continue. So we're in the research sector, which is now unlocked to us. Apparently all the sectors are just unlocked to us. I've taken a break since the last recording, so the game might act a little wonky for having the fact that it just sat around. Let's see.
I'm looking at you, Mr. Tomasi.
I guess we're looking for this guy.
This is where the magic happens.
It's gonna be weird if this guy actually shows up and he's
I've
animated.
been here for 24 years now. I've always been here. And through those years, we've made
I still wonder if
discoveries.
there's a
Authored studies of
time
great importance.
issue
In all this
that
work,
happens here where
there is one thing
different
we
people
know,
are from
and
different
that's
times.
How little we truly know. Rest assured, we're committed to keep pushing the known
I'm not sure if
laws and
these
borders of reality,
aides are going
and
to
make the
be
Bureau proud.
characters
So,
we see.
Welcome. Assuming you have the necessary clearance, and do follow the safety protocols. Read the manual. Otherwise, bad things will happen.
That's quite the viewing angle you
Research
can
sector,
get.
huh? Home of the Bureau's mad scientists.
So here we have a ritual division. Yeah, it doesn't feel like the game is acting wonky, but that certainly is something that has happened in the past quite a lot, where you can't just pause a game and leave it running. You have to exit out and relaunch it. Man. There is something messed up with the brightness that they had. The default brightness setting they had us set up. I don't want the game to get ridiculously overblown, and when you're out in this section where you have what looks like natural light but very probably isn't, although that then doesn't really explain the trees or the plants, but so just get him out of the way so that we could see what this projector is projecting, if it's projecting anything important. We saw in the dialogue in the story that it was a projector object of power that that first intertwined Jesse and her alleged brother Dylan. I'm not sure if I 100% believe she really did have a brother named Dylan. One could also argue that there's a decent amount of audio balance problems here. Just having two flying around creatures was enough that we had a little bit of a lag. That was certainly enough to add some issues. It really makes no sense gameplay balance wise to have a gun that's taking like 12 shots to kill a single person in the head. Like, maybe my ability to shoot isn't that great, but I don't feel like it's so bad that I should be in this situation that I keep running into, where I'm picking up bits of health and then the bits of health are not even high enough. Well, Darling's office is at the top, so let's run to the top and kind of avoid a fight I don't think that's going to work, but it's worth a try at least. Is that like a wheelchair bound guy? Bureau alert failed. So, yeah, there was this quest that had some kind of time limit on it, and apparently I just failed that quest. Or are we going back and trying again? Then why would it bother to tell us we had failed that quest? Alright, so quest. Yeah, I apparently failed the quest, and because of that, I would have to go back to the main area and fight, I think, from that. There's a lot of small areas in this section and then one major area. Seems like the map we're looking at is a blacked out map that's been blacked out a couple times. Alright. I think also I just lost my survival tactics quest. How in the world would that have turned into that? Like, I was at 49 of 50. So I somehow managed to so I screwed up another challenge. The way this difficulty is balanced, and in all fairness, I mostly play games on easy these days. I have a little bit of arthritis in my hands, and I find smashing controllers is really not helpful, or killing yourself struggling to dimensional research. Just struggling to defeat things on more difficult settings really are not interesting to me anymore. So having to play this on its one and only difficulty setting. We're getting weird sound effects, by the way. That's not me walking. Here's a desktop toy. Let's go ahead and pick up more of the things. Everything fell off the wall when I picked up that item. Odd that I could pick up that one group of books and none of the others.
Despite what you may have heard, HRAs are not monitored.
I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be hearing that pounding sound, or if this is a case of the game. No. Yes. It all falls in one shot.
Think of it as a life preserver. Only instead of water, the thing HRAs protect you from is classified.
So he made the HRAs.
Classified, not water, might pour in, and you'll be glad you got an HRA keeping you afloat. And if you don't have an HRA, don't worry. It'll be quick and painless. Kidding. I'm kidding. We're making more.
So he knew this was going to happen, but that doesn't inherently mean that he was as a desktop toy, but there's no guarantee that the desktop toy is actually just a desktop toy. This looks like a different game I played that had a logo that looked very much like that. Although I guess that's is just perspective art. Seems like there's nothing else here. So we're looking for parapsychology. Ah. So it was just a guy that could not get around the edge. Which probably means there is another guy that can't get around an edge. So these guys pathfinding are pretty terrible for a modern game. Yeah, and I'm not good enough to pull up a shield that quickly. Trying to get more health. Be nice to get back up. So do I want to hold the shield? Is there somebody in here banging on the door? No. It's so much for the shelter being useful. As a shelter, they can clearly find you and shoot you while you're in it. Wow, that was some major lag. These firefights, they're getting a little too big, a little too long. I feel like this could have easily been split into 3 waves of enemies spawning. There are more waves spawning, but it's just too much. And the reload is so long. sure how to deal with it, half of this. Let's just get all these pickups and collectibles over here. Darling's office and dimensional research seem to be up in that direction, but can we get this to Parkinsiology? Parkinsiology is number 1. We are here, and we want to go here. So is this map in the same orientation as the map above, or are the maps completely different? Because it looks like my map is upside down. So yeah, I think I'm supposed to go north when this map tells me to go north. And I don't think I can break this section right now unless there is something I'm missing. And yeah, we can jump in there, but that doesn't do anything. This is, I believe, a shelter we were already in. No, this is a different shelter. Still dealing with a lot of copy and paste elements, a lot of repetitive visuals. Alright, parapsychology. I think we found it. And I guess the question would be, do I care about any of the collectibles around the game, or are doors like these that have been completely sealed off indications of places where a door would logically be, but there actually isn't going to be ever an actual door there? We've got more copyrighted music playing for no reason. Let's see. If I did that, there is some kind of boxes there. It doesn't feel like monsters ever would spawn in this area. So this kind of boils down to, are we really gonna, was it a good use of their resources to have them specifically animate so many toilets when they don't really play any role? Just is particularly bright. There's a collectible in the toilet. I guess that is something. There's urinals in that toilet, which is the male toilet, whereas this is the female toilet, and they replace those with sinks. Sinks which are uncomfortably low. Like, this is below, I think, like one that's wheelchair accessible. You are definitely going to splash water on your pants and look like you peed yourself on those kind of sinks. So if they are spending the extra effort, just as a thought, if they're spending that extra effort to animate toilets and such, then why did they not spend a little bit more effort to I can't open that remotely. Yeah, why not spend the extra effort to put the sinks in the right place? Or, better yet, just not deal with with that element and instead make a slightly better game. This charred elements don't seem like they're gonna hurt me. But I would have to jump and then dash, I think, to get to this other ledge. Almost certainly there is a easier way to get up there later on. I could try and work my way down there, but honestly I saw someone else play this game and do that and then die from the fall, so I'm not super motivated to trying that. Let's see. Here's lab 1. And we're still trying to find Marshall. And it feels like the game is going to have us go in different directions looking for him. Or we're just going to find him really quickly, and then there'll be some story about how he's maybe the bad guy, or well, he's gone crazy or something like that. Let's see. There's a whole bunch of text there that might mean something, but I doubt it. This looks like a echo sound chamber of some sort. Experimenting on, I guess, sound related items. Let's take a moment while we're here to see if maybe we've got something new. An increased rate of fire versus reload speed. Ammo cost per shot would be probably a little bit better. And then an increased rate of fire on the shotgun might be a little bit more interesting. Do we have anything else to consider? Damage against armor 30%, damage against armor 30%. I don't think we need 2 of those. We have damage 20%, damage after kill 20%. Let's see, accuracy 8%. 5 projectiles versus 3 projectors. Projectiles. This is a level 4 item, so if anything, this should be on the scatter, because that's way better. Reload speed 11% versus ammo point efficiency of 10%. We really don't have enough slots. It's annoying, to say the least. Alright, 7% versus 12% tells me I can get rid of that. Shield strength 38%. Can't really use the shield at all. And then this would be energy recovery speed. So there might be something more I can do with the shotgun element, but a lot of it seems unreasonable. This might be copyrighted music, but it's integrated into the game unlike all the others, if it is. There's like no sitting down. What just blew up out there? So I don't know if I'm triggering a transition or if something's going on. See, there might just be an enemy. This feels like this is just a demo to experiment with 3D audio, which, you know, DirectX 12 and their audio technology. If people are willing to experiment with that, that would be better if they improved it. So, yeah, that feels like that was nothing. Either that was the case, that actually was nothing, or that was an instance of oh, those are heat-seeking rockets, by the way. I'm gonna have to risk this and just assume that when I saw the other player do this, they did it very poorly. That being said, I am going to be taking fall damage on every fall. I feel like there's a way they indicate that this is where you're supposed to go a little bit better. Also, there is a danger here. This is just going to end up putting me in a completely different sector. And if that's the case, then, well, that'll be weird and we'll be in the completely wrong place. We're in the pit, which is still part of the research section. Interesting. You can see there's a lot of a fungus-like object that's growing straight out of, that's a human, straight out of this area. You run into some weirdness with the sci-fi here, since these are extra dimensional creatures, because you kind of either quickly have to, let's see, what's this major targets mission that we got again? Go to pneumatics. So the board seems to be giving me instructions on occasion. So apparently I can now go back up. Yeah, but it boils down to most TV shows, which is what I think this game is better compared to, would eventually say all aliens are bad. The X-Files kind of went that direction too, where all aliens were bad, and there was there stopped being any side stories of just misunderstood creatures or anything like that. Alright, so there's only just a collectible here. Honestly, I question the amount of collectibles in this game. I question the existence of collectibles. I feel like, and this is true for a lot of games that I've played recently, it feels like you probably could have done better just having a tight 5-hour experience telling the story you wanted to tell, instead of trying to live up to what is now an over a decade mentality of games have to be a certain length, otherwise you're going to feel ripped off. Because the quality of the game is the important part, and people I think understand that mostly. I don't have security for clearance. And that's the largest security we've seen so far. And we're at security 2. It's weird that the game is telling me to rush. And I'm definitely not going to buy into that. Although that certainly does feed into part of the issue that I'm seeing here, which is an issue of just the game being paced oddly. So like the clog, we're now fighting what look like sea creatures. How sea creatures would exist in an oxygen environment instead of water is questionable. Seriously. So another mission just failed, and the quest to kill 50 characters without dying has been reset again. This is getting repetitive at this point. And not a lot I can really do about it either. I need a personal mod that would increase my armor. And it's strange that we're back to this. I mean, seriously, nothing? Nothing was saved? Nothing at all? Is this a control point where I could have cleansed it and I didn't? Feels like the bathrooms should be save points for as much as they are used. I swear there was a shelter somewhere around here. Yeah, there's a shelter right here. So why did I not walk out of this shelter? Why did this not save? On a bigger question, if I go in a shelter, does that perhaps despawn enemies? No. I'd also like to just be able to drink water and refill my health. Yeah, I'm not seeing a save. This says parapsychology is either upward or straight down the hall. Where did that guy come from? So I have to go back down, and I have to be careful not to die. And we've got the weird sound effects happening all the time. Alright, we did get a little bit of heal. from that. But I'm gonna be so dead by the time we get down that that small bit of heal's not gonna be enough. Alright. Is there perhaps a chance that this would go higher? And that's as far as I needed to go. No, but there was a button. Darn it. So there was no need to jump down the second time. I just didn't see the button. We are in the pit. We kind of... I guess maybe the map is showing me where I'm supposed to go, but I don't know how to get there. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of going in the right direction, but I really do feel like I'm also setting myself up for great failure. Because I'm gonna have to get in that exact same area we were in before, unless I decide to go over this direction instead, which might not be a bad idea. There's nothing here. Just another collectible and some more mods. So is ammo efficiency working? I don't think it really is. I'm just gonna increase damage and we'll try that. Meanwhile, we have something that would energy recovery speed 32% versus 22%. So that's better. We can also toss that, and we can also, I think, toss this. But I might need to... You get into almost a point where you're going to have to switch mods on the fly, and if that was how they really wanted you to play the game, then they needed to establish some loadouts. Yeah, even my launch now is not doing as much damage as I would like it to. Crouch down is, I don't believe, the same as hiding behind cover, but I've forgotten what the button would be to hide around cover. There must be something I'm doing wrong in the main room. Particularly if this loads us back to the main room. There must be something where I'm supposed to just take out that area and cleanse that area first, because it doesn't make sense that I would start here. I don't think this game is that just poorly designed or bad that the idea would be to force the player to take on the same fight over and over again. So we'll just do this fight again with its lagginess. It's a pretty big area, in all fairness, so some of it does make sense that there would be a lot of people around. This doesn't also quite feel like the group of enemies we fought before, because didn't we have a group of flying guys that came out of like there? So I don't know if we're respawning a smaller contingent of fighters, or if there's more to this. I missed a collectible. Interesting. Yeah, that was not there. That was blocked off before. In fact, on Giant Bomb, I feel like this was the exact same section that they ran into the exact same problem. So it feels like a known bug that you fight what feels like everybody in this area, and then this part is still blocked off. So I was way going in the wrong direction.
She's in trouble.
Which
I need to reach her.
that would help, I suppose, the gameplay design. It would certainly explain a lot of things, why I'm having trouble. Seems like you could walk over there and click that button, but whatever's in the way is blocking me, like an invisible wall. It just feels like there's an invisible wall here, or maybe some metal bars I can't see. This game needs a flashlight terribly, and yeah, there's down button changes the perspective. Oh, that's nice. You probably would have to make some use of that. It would have been nice if the game had told me that that happens. Left and right on the D-pad seem to do nothing. So we've got more of the messed up building. So either we're going to get a control point, which would be nice, or we're going to do another platforming section. I want to see if there's any flying enemies while I'm in the middle of a fight. I really don't have time to check, but it would be nice to know. That was a great example, by the way, of how the fog just gets in the way of everything, and how this door is now closed. So every doorway is here. So use the shield, I guess, and see if we can grab health while we're using the shield. Like, I totally get what they're trying to do here with a fast-paced gameplay mechanic where you're running and gunning a lot. The health is just not balanced for it. Not for my level of skill, at least. Maybe there's some experts out there in these types of games. So here we have a ghost-like apparition under red lights looking at a bunch of TVs. Here we have a bunch of floating objects. Here we have some more floating objects. And here we have a ghost like creature sitting in the chair too. One assumes that these people the hiss might have affected those ghost-like creatures as much as anything else. Here we've got some dummies. So if I don't look at these dummies and then swing around where they have moved, doesn't look like it. So the opportunity for creepiness seems not to be very high. Here we have just cleaning supplies. Here you just have a room. It's kind of nothing else. Still don't really feel like I'm gonna end up opening those kinds of doors. Is there anything more in this room? There's more in that room. We really should unlock a new teleport section, I feel like, pretty quickly. Yeah. And I guess I was right on that. Again, the animation did not play correctly.
What you see is not what you always get. Regardless, this place is vitally important to the Bureau. Most information on the astral plane is classified, but we can talk in broad strokes, keeping in mind that these are staggeringly complex systems, and simplification does them no justice.
Crazy that they showed us some just full screen videos like this, and then they're gonna cram the rest of the game with these kind of videos.
Intrinsically tied to the oldest house, tied to the director, the process of choosing a director, tied to all objects of power in terms of who controls them. Yes.
So I don't know how you don't classify the board as a somewhat antagonistic group if they're specifically trying to give objects of power to people that they deem to be correct. Alright. Pierce with precision with a charged shot that penetrates armor and enemies at any range. That feels like a shotgun. We can make spin, so we should make spin. Apparently we can't upgrade anything else, so I probably should have had spin earlier. As for these mods, getting common or uncommon mods doesn't make sense. I guess eventually, if you have a ton of material, you would upgrade your construction ability. Speaking of abilities, we've done apparently nothing to get any experience, even though we feel like we've done quite a lot. And then board countermeasures. Kill enemies using melee. Kill hiss charged. Executive sector with launch. That's probably not one I want to get. Kill hiss rangers. I probably could abandon something if I let's see if we abandon this, and then let's see, Spin mode. Yeah. We'll take that. That should be pretty easy to do. It's weird that the game is designed this way. It feels so odd. Spin. Let's see. We have rate of fire increase, which we can upgrade. I guess rate of fire increase is what we'd want. And we'll try spin and see if that solves some of the problems we've been running into. Yeah, that's some kind of computer, not anything that you can open. Okay. We'll see how well that works. Is this what the first house actually looks like from the outside, or some reasonable facsimile? Or is it a depiction of the astral plane, which I guess it's probably the astral plane. There's always a question about what really is the astral plane. It's kind of just a nonsense term in sci-fi until it's described and explained. Often the astral plane is just a description of people's mental, like psychic people interacting with each other.
An early hypothesis was that the mindscape of the astral plane is subjective. But that was fast proven wrong. It's an actual place, not a construct of the mind.
So immediately they change what it is and describe it differently in this game.
But then one could argue that that's the case with all reality. We've been able to record footage of the astral plane by monitoring the brain activity of those experiencing it. That is the only concrete material that has come out of the astral plane expeditions. Apart from one shocking exception. In the astral plane footage, we're always in the vicinity of the pyramid. We've concluded that this, not the entire plane, is what the board controls. We have glimpsed movement, native species, always in the distance, and yet contact was made. We don't have footage of this, a technical malfunction, but when one of our
more live action
returned,
video,
an astral fugue had hitchhiked a ride in his head. It ruptured out, killing the subject in question. It's a relentless predator pursuing thoughts, minds, lethal to those the entity feeds on. Proper containment protocols are to be observed when dealing with it.
Again, this feels more like a TV show than a game. My question about the astral plane would be, how much more of this are we gonna have to go through?
I can't believe they keep that thing here.
So is that supposed to be a boss? This game seems to love to cause fights, cause noise to happen. So I believe I think this is where other people on Giant Bomb messed up this section in particular. I believe the goal here is to trap the guy in this section, but to do that I think requires both of these to be powered. So then I can hit this button and do that. you'd be rather surprised how much time they spent doing that, trying to get that to work.
What was the Bureau doing with that thing?
So in fairness, I had seen people, Giant Bones, quick look, executive hiss notes. What is this? Quest that they have us going on. New materials. Go to the communications department. I don't want to do that. Like, that's super annoying. Let's see.
Someone answer, damn it! We need backup down here.
Marshall, are you still there?
Shit. We're so close. We need to hurry.
So, yeah, that was kind of a puzzle more than anything else, and that was super easy. And it feels like there might have been a way to come through this area differently. Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember what I was going to say about the astral plane. The pyramid in the astral plane looks a little bit too much like the pyramid in Hellraiser 2. Now, I doubt many people are going to remember Hellraiser 2, the movie from a long time ago, but there was this evil pyramid-like creature that was controlling all of hell, that was floating in the sky. So, I guess it was more of a diamond shaped two pyramids on top of each other, with both bases connected. So maybe more of a hexagon shape, or not hexagon, but hexalateral pyramid or something. I don't even know what you call that. But I am definitely getting reminded of it every time I see the pyramids. So what do we have new? 8% energy versus 5% energy. Go ahead and deconstruct that. And almost certainly I'm not going to bother to go to the communications department. It doesn't feel like you'd want to do any of these missions. I don't think you'd want to really do any of these missions until you've beaten the whole game. And it's going to feel very weird if you've beaten the whole game and you can still just run around the building and do crazy missions. But it does kind of feel like that's exactly how it's going to play out. Let's see. Pause now if you want to read that. His snipers are a dangerous thought, certainly. You can see that since it is just trooper, sniper, ranger, guard, and elevated, and demolition expert, like, with the exception of the elevated people who you'd have to kind of explain away, and the charged as kind of like suicide bomber, this whole range of enemies could be in any other military style game. Let's see. Pause now if you want to read that. Pause now if you want to read that. Pause now if you want to read that. It does feel like, since there's really only 5 levels, we may be picking up all the collectibles kind of quickly. There is going to be a level of going back and getting all the collectibles if we wanted to do that in a Metroidvania style of gameplay, but I'm not sure I'm really sold on playing it that way. What I would prefer for the level of story that's being given to me and for the quality of the gameplay, seeing how it's kind of simple and also kind of difficult, which aren't mutually exclusive things. I don't know why I would want to spend an extra couple hours trying to find all the collectibles in this. And more when I see games with so much text like this, it feels like, yeah, if I wanted to play a visual novel and read 40,000 words of dialogue, I would do that. But that's not what I want to do in a AAA game that's a first-person shooter, or third-person shooter in this case. So while these short paragraphs are enticing the 1% of people that are in love with this story and in love with this game to dig deeper, it's not really doing anything for the regular players, normal people. And where Skyrim did a really good job, and Witcher did a good job of this too, is that there was tons of books you could read, and there was very little lost if you didn't read it, because there was so much other content in Skyrim and Witcher 3. You did not feel shortchanged if you didn't read things. Here, I totally feel like I'm going to be shortchanged because I'm not reading it, but also I'm not committed enough to this game to want to actually read all of that dialogue. These materials that we're collecting, I wonder if they are all for crafting or if something else is potentially going to come about this. What's funny is there was this other game, well, I can't remember the name, where the company went out of business after trying to make the game, that has a much brighter, interesting looking visuals, basically doing the same idea as the old house. I think it was called Echo, maybe? And unfortunately the company went out of business, and while they did license their game idea to a movie, it probably would never actually get developed into a movie, and the game left Steam for now as because they went out of business, but one assumes that somebody will buy the license to it. It didn't sell amazingly well, it didn't have any advertising to it. But the one thing I could say about it is it was way brighter. It feels like they turned down the brightness on this game quite a bit to do the ray tracing, and I'm still not really impressed by the ray tracing at all. These little reflections have been faked for decades in other games, using reflection textures, reflection mapping, and they looked perfectly fine. Maybe there will be a case to be made that as it becomes easier and easier to program games with ray tracing, it'll take less work to make games with good reflections and good lighting. But this really isn't working that way. By the way, the hiss has basically changed how it sounds. It's changed from being a hiss into just like a consistent murmur. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. Apparently the game does save when you pause. Interesting, but not super helpful, because I imagine if I died, I still would end up reloading somewhere. We spent a lot of time doing the wrong thing in this episode. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.